Hey, what's up? I'm Chardonnay, and this is my video submission for the Sew Blue Challenge. For those of you who don't know, November is Diabetes Awareness Month. I actually had no idea that November was Diabetes Awareness Month. It was actually brought to my attention by another creator, fellow sewist here on YouTube. Her name is Martika. She goes by Martika J Makes here on YouTube, and she is the one hosting this sewing challenge. Essentially, all the challenge is to sew up something blue within the month of November and share your make so that way you can bring awareness to diabetes. And I thought it was so dope that she was doing this sewing challenge because primarily her channel and the things that she talks about online is revolving around sewing. But I think it's dope when you compare your craft or your interest and also pair it with something that you want to bring awareness to or to support a cause, especially one that directly impacts you. So I wanted to make sure that I participated and I could support with this sewing challenge that she's hosting. And also because I personally have family members who have been impacted by diabetes. Diabetes runs within my family, and not to get too deep and too personal down my family history and all of that, but I thought that this is a great time to also just kind of bring awareness to it. So that way, if you know someone close who is impacted by it, it can give you a little bit of empathy, understanding, and knowledge on what they are navigating through. And then also, if you know that it runs within your family, you can kind of take some preventative measures and just become more knowledgeable and educated around the topic. So love that. Additionally, I also have some extra fabric within my stash. I can literally count on my hands the amount of blue items I have within my wardrobe. Literally this navy top that I have on, a jacket I stitched up earlier this year, and the pajama shorts I'm about to show you all in a minute. So now that I've kind of gave you all the rundown of what this video is about and the inspiration behind sewing this, let's go ahead and get into this video so that way you all can see what I decided to stitch up for this Sew Blue challenge. Let's check it out. Hello. Today we're going to be stitching up Butterick B5502, which is a pair of pajama shorts. I'm going to be stitching up view A. Now, the only few notions that are required for this is 1 3/8 yards of a 1/2 inch wide elastic and wide ribbon. So this is what the line drawings look like on this pattern, and this is what the pattern looks like that we'll be working with. So I already have the pieces pre-cut inside of this envelope, as well as the mark. So I went ahead and traced out my pattern pieces, and you're going to have a total of 4 pieces that you're going to be working with. Piece 5, which is the back waistband, you're going to be working with pattern piece 4, which is the front waistband. And then you're going to be working with the front pattern piece 1. And then you're going to be working with pattern piece 2, which is the back of the shorts. So I have all 4 pieces already cut out. And now I'm going to get started with stitching this up. So since I'm going to be working with the pajama shorts view A, I went ahead and cut out all 4 of those pieces. But I think alternatively, if you don't have this pattern in particular, you can also use a pair of old pajama shorts that you may already have and trace out your fabric pieces. So as you can see, for the layout pattern for view A, you have piece 1, 2, and then the waistbands. But if you were going with shorts B, all you have to cut out is piece 1 and 2. And I think that this particular instruction is great for if you are tracing out a pair of shorts that you already have within your wardrobe. So I'm going to show you what I mean when I say that you can take a pair of pajama shorts that you already have. Basically, what you would do is you would just trace out the front part of the shorts as well as the back part of the shorts, and you would stitch them up and then add an elastic casing, so that way your shorts will fit you. You don't have to do this or anything. That's just an alternative option if you don't have this pattern in your stash or a pajama short pattern to work with. I just want to show you all a few different ways you can go about simply sewing up a pair of pajama shorts if you're not working with the pattern. So now that I got that out the way, let's get to stitching. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to stitch with right sides together, the front and back together along this side. So basically this curved area is going to be left exposed, and I'm just going to take the right sides of the fabric and stitch this up. So once you have the outer seam stitched up on both sides of the shorts, then you're just going to take the inner bottom seam and go ahead and stitch that up. You're going to do that on both sides of the shorts, and then we're going to come back and then place them inside of each other and then stitch along the crotch line. So again, I'm just taking that outer seam, stitching it up, and then we're going to make sure right sides are still facing each other. Go ahead and align the bottom crotch seam on the inner leg and stitch this up. Now you'll notice when you are stitching this up, this front and back piece may not align, but as long as the inner bottom crotch seam is aligned, that's all you need to worry about at this point. Now that I have that outer leg seam stitched up as well as that inner leg seam stitch, now I'm just going to take this time and trim off some of the seam allowance both on the outer and inner leg. Typically people would use a serger or pinking shears at this point to kind of make sure that the fabric doesn't fray, but if you are someone like me who is a beginner sewist, I'm just simply going to take these scissors and I'm just going to trim up the seam allowance both on the outer and inner seams. Alternatively, you can also use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine to make sure that you have kind of locked the stitch in and the fabric doesn't fray. But because this is something that I'm just going to be wearing around the house, as well as because I know how to sew, I don't mind kind of adding that finishing touch to it. But if you're someone who likes a more polished garment, then you can definitely use a serger, pinking shears, or a zigzag stitch at this step. Now that I have the seam allowance cleaned up on both sides of the shorts, I'm going to leave this side inside out, and then I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to reverse it to the opposite side so that way I can place this leg inside of the other one. So I'm just reversing this other short to the right side of the fabric. So this is the right side, this one is still on the wrong side. I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. Open this leg up. I'm going to show you all a top-down view so you can get a better glimpse. All right, so this is the top-down view of the shorts. All I simply did was take the shorts from being on its side like this. This is the outer seam. This is the inner seam of the crotch. And I'm just going ahead and opening up this short leg like this. So that way you have this side of the shorts laying flat. Now, all I'm simply doing next is I am taking the other side of the shorts. This is what it looks like. This is on the wrong side. I'm simply going to reverse it to the opposite side. And now that I have it to the right side, I'm going to do the same thing. Open up that short leg with the inner leg seam, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to insert it inside of the other short leg like this. And you're going to insert it so that way the right sides of each other are facing each other and those outer side seams are aligned once you place the legs inside of each other. So I'm just making sure that I adjust this. So now I am going to take the inner leg seam and I'm going to make sure that I have where we stitched it up. So now I'm just going to take some clips and start pinning this. Now that I have this inner crotch all pinned, I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and start stitching it up. Okay, now that I have this inner crotch seam stitched, I'm just going to take this and pull it all the way out. So you can see now we have those two separate pant legs. Now I'm going to start prepping the waistband, and then I'm going to pop in a hem, and then we should be at the home stretch of stitching these shorts up. Now, if you're following along with the same pattern, you're going to move on to pattern piece 4. And basically what you're going to do is you are going to take that piece and you are going to go ahead and stitch it along the center seam, and you are going to leave a small opening between where the 2 dots are on your fabric. If you're not following along using the same pattern that I'm using to stitch this up, this is the step where you can go ahead and use your own method for inserting the waistband as well as the hem along the shorts. But once you pretty much sew up the side seams and the inner crotch leg of the shorts, you're pretty much done. It's the home stretch, and all you have to do is pop in a waistband as well as add a hem to the shorts. And I'm just using this step to follow along with the pattern. So I'll go ahead and stitch up this center seam of this waistband and then continue on. Now that I have pattern pieces 4 stitched up at the center seam, I'm going to take piece 5 and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it along the outer side seams. Going ahead and laying this pattern piece 5 on top, making sure that it's aligned, and I'm going to stitch here and here. So we are at the home stretch. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and attached the waistband to the perimeter of the shorts. Right here is the opening where I will insert either the elastic or the drawstring. And then I've already gone ahead and pinned the bottom part of the shorts. I'm going to finish off my shorts using a twin needle because I like the way that looks. It gives it a nice polished look. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this waistband, insert the drawstring or the elastic. I haven't decided yet what I want to use, and then I will pop in the hem and then show you all the final look of how these pajama shorts turned out.